Okay, so Miss Nobody here, and FIFA Cup gone now. Well, the World Cup, all that's gone, and it was a really cool, experience because I was like, I've watched the World Cup, you know, a couple times here and there, and watched soccer and whatnot, and but this is the first time it felt like I was really watching it. Like I might not know all the terms and stuff like that, but I was able to watch it to where I was like, oh, I can see this play and I can see how, and I was like, oh, I can see what they're doing. Even now, it feels like before they even seem like they're doing it, you sort of know. Just like with any sport that's like, if you watch it enough or you like it enough, you start to get the grasp of it. But anyway, the whole thing about the World Cup is basically going to another place, other countries joining in and whatnot. And that's what this sort of was. You had like the people coming over, experiencing America food, America's terrain, seeing how big it is, seeing how hot it is, seeing all this other stuff. That's cool or whatever. Meeting other groups of people that you will never probably meet. Now, I was like, now you're in those selected spots. That's really cool. If you're just like a normal civilian, like the rest of us, then hey, you just get to watch about it and see it on TikToks and stuff. But with that being said, I don't know if that's because the age that we're in. I was like, the internet, of course, the internet's been around. Media, I was like, this YouTube media and all this other stuff been around for a long time. But it really, and I was like, I don't know because it's because it's in America or what, but it really has seemed that we all, whether you're just, I was like Americans or what, black or what, um, and the only reason I'm saying that, I'm like saying it like that is that we all seem to find out about Argentina. It seemed like at once. Now that's not being said that this like, and what we know about Argentina is the fact that it's like, hey, how they have done their indigenous and black people down there and stuff. And the reason I say that is because I'm not gonna lie to you. I really didn't know too much about Argentina. Only thing I really known, and it was like a decade or so ago, was that the those kind of Germans fled down there. And to be honest, I was like, even though, and I've heard other people talk about it and stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, I remember when a time when that was a conspiracy theory that they were down there and all this other stuff. Like, I was like, I didn't hear about it talked about in normal channels of normal, like in like regular people talking about it. Like it was always like, what, really, like that a thing? Because it's like when I feel like a lot of people thought about Argentina, and it's not like how many people really get. And I was like, look, I'm talking about regular, normal people. I'm not talking about like people who really like study countries and or anything like that. Like I was like, look, I'm talking about regular people who this ain't part of their normal everyday thinking about. But that being said, I was like, I feel like when people think of, if you would have asked a lot of people about Argentina really beforehand, I think a lot of people would have thought how you would have thought of anybody really in South America. And then, and the football team be what it is, I was like, because they really made their sports team reflect what they are down there. Whereas everywhere else, not really. And I think that's also what made this even a discussion that everybody got at the same time, is because like not only did I feel like, and what I mean by everybody finding about at the same time is that you could have found out about Argentina at any point in time. I was like, sports always makes things bigger than what it is, as of like, like, yes, we're talking about the sport, but then there's specs here and there that because of that sport, now I was like, now that's a light that's going to be shined on it, especially when people are like, oh, I just want to watch sports, and I was like, there's no politics in sports. I was like, I want to turn my brain off, and it's like, okay, cool, except for when you see teams like Norway and stuff have a good amount of black people, and then you're like, why Argentina don't? That's weird. If any of the other places that people would have thought like that wasn't going to have black people would have been like, oh, Norway, the Swiss. Oh yeah, why would they really have any there? Even I like people will even say England, even though we know a good amount of black people is there or whatever. Argentina. At minimum, you would probably think like, yo, they're not a little bit more brown in that Crayola box. No, um, and yes, the World Cup has brought a big, huge light in ways. I think that because it's the World Cup, but also because like I said, you've seen every team have a good amount of black people in a way that you're like, Argentina's like, oh, that's weird. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's just nothing. It's nothing. And I was like, even like from like a couple other people, I'm like, they ain't even watching the World Cup, but guess what? They getting like YouTube shorts here, or videos here, or whatever. And it's like, wait, did we all just hit the same algorithm at the same time? Like what? Like what is going on here? This is odd. And I mean, yes, like if you're actually like like in Atlanta or whatever like that, or you're actually in the stadium, or you've been doing the soccer thing, I would like or football for a long time, then of course Then I was like, that's not the people. That's not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that are coming to this as normal people. That's like, oh, that's odd. That's weird. And look, the stuff with I Show Speed, I was like a big guy online that everybody knows about shines another light on it. So I was like, so my thing is I'm like, did we all just synchronize all at the same time? I was like, not just not just black folks, but also other people, because other people also was like, yo, that's I was like, why they acting like this? Like even I feel like even some of like Americans like, yo, that's crazy, that's wild. But then when you start, then I was like, as the videos will stay and say and stuff like that about the history and how they did it, I was like, how they did their Afro people is kind of like, oh, this is this is deliberate. This is on purpose. This is an executed plan that they executed. I was like, to top notch to their ability. I mean, don't get me wrong. As much as they can talk about it and say it and all the other stuff, I was like, I well, you know what's crazy to me, and maybe it's the though I was like those certain Germans. Is that it's weird to me that I'm like none of them is blonde hair and blue eyes. None of them is that superior race that they're talking about. I was like I look at them and I'm like, yeah, y'all look like, yeah, y'all of like are mixed ethnicities. Y'all look like y'all are. I was like, I was like, I see some of y'all. I see some of y'all just regularly down the street. Y'all look not how y'all portray yourselves. And that's what's even like the weirder part is that I'm like, y'all didn't even get what y'all wanted out of this, outside of the fact that you were just like, yo, we just don't want any black, darker, Afro, whatever, whichever description you want to say outside of it. And look, I was like, that was their plan. They pretty much see it out of that plan. I was like, not to say that there's no versions of them people, of any of those people down there or whatever. That's what I'm saying. But they did a good job of just being like, and I was like, good job. You got to use in quotations of doing what they wanted to do. But at the same time, y'all didn't do what y'all wanted to do. Yes, a lot of them are fair skinned, but I was like, I was like, yeah, I was like, look, if y'all was up here, then I was like, they be calling them on y'all too. But with that being said, I just thought it was crazy and weird about it. And guess what? Hey, I was like, they pretty much became public enemy number one, and they should, because not only their vile ways of like dealing with uh even like of those of like black descent and darker skin and stuff, is the fact that they were just over here just being assholes to everybody. I'm like, damn. I was like, y'all are even just y'all just treating everybody like this. So it's like not from the way that they played, the way that they was getting in the scraps and the fights. I was like, I know they had to say something to Bellingham or whatever for him to want to slap that dude up in the head and stuff. We seen how they just started fights with all of Spain. They was over here fighting. They were fighting people in Atlanta, and guess what? I was like, listen, you might be able to pull that down there because they ain't enough baby to fight back, but you ain't about to pull that up here. Um, but yeah, when they doing, I was like the way they're going about it like that. They just starting fighting. I was like, hell, they destroying their own country just based off of them losing. And I'm like, that's wild. I was like, but of course, what can you expect if that's how you gonna be and talk and do this? I was like, be like this, then of course you're gonna also act out and act that way. There ain't nothing else but in you about a whole bunch of vile and just. I was like, and it's like it's totally just like, I mean, yes, any of that stuff, any of the racism and stuff like that is unnecessary. But I'm like, y'all was really just like unnecessary. Where I'm like, did that? I was like, this is a Fortnite game. I was like, that's y'all signature move. That's y'all taunt button constantly. Like y'all all got the same. Y'all got the same move. Y'all got the same taunt button. Like y'all, that's the only thing y'all know how to do or whatever. And it's like, okay, bet. I was like, why y'all lost the way y'all lost, and y'all gonna be. That's the way y'all gonna be. But I just thought it. I was like, but I just thought it was weird. Like I said, I was like, I understand that sports can shine a bigger light on things, and I was like, look, it was a good way to educate everybody, um, in the whole, in like whole all of Argentina and stuff like that. Hey, I wasn't well versed of it as well, and I was like, I'm still not well versed, but I got a grasp. I know what's, I was like, I know what's going on. Um, I think it's funny that everybody got it clocked all at the same time. Even if you wasn't out here watching any of the games, you still got it where it was like, you know what? I don't know about any of these other ones, but they could fuck off. Um, yeah, because I mean, like we seen like how like a lot of these other teams that have colonized and things like that, and how they got their players, and it still is kind of like, yeah, I see them, and I was like, that's not to take it away from them, but you see them over there, I like, yo, I hope they hit their pinky toe every day on the table, if not more. Anyway, I just thought it was weird, that we all just synced up or whatever. I was like, that was cool. And I was like, now we got a place to be like, you know what? Every time I was like, we'll watch football. Every time a World Cup comes around, we all can hold hands and lead together like the movie Us, and just be like, yo, I hope every day that y'all kick the soccer ball. Y'all foot hurts. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about it. Until then, there's nobody signing off. Peace.